Minnesota's had some problems with their kickers lately. Do you have a big game plan here you sold Zimmer on for a kicker?
You know what? It all starts with the evaluation process. You know, right now, all things are on the table. We're starting to, start looking at draft kickers, free agent kickers, and that's something that obviously I've had a good luck with in the past. We've always had good kickers where I've been, and sometimes they haven't had the best years as well, but we've always had options. And I think the most important thing is to overturn every rock and find somebody that fits what we're trying to do, whether it's a veteran or a young guy.
Going off that, what do you look for just generally in a kicker?
Sure. I think the basic things, the flight of the football, the rotation, just those things being the majority of it. His technique, how he approaches the ball, his mental state. I think that's important too. Ideally with like football players who happen to kick, and I think that if you find those type of guys, those are the ones that kind of stick through with longer success.
How have you learned about coaching that position and sort of balancing the technical, mechanical side versus also just maybe being a mental coach too, to help them through?
Well, I think a lot of the stuff, especially the mental stuff, starts with the evaluation process. Spending as much time as you can with them before you happen to sign them. I think when you do that, I think it really helps the other stuff out. You don't want to, these guys are adults really when we get them. So there's not much that you can really change. There's things that you can tweak, and being around some very good kickers, during my career, I was able to learn from them. I mean, those are the guys you really learn from. Vinatieri, Phil Dawson, Matt Stover. I mean, that's 60 years of experience right there. That I probably took more notes being around those guys than anybody. So.
What do you take away from their mental makeup as kickers? I mean, you mentioned some of the best names that have ever done this.
Sure. I mean, those guys happen to be really good football players. Some of them went to weren't kickers in high school. A guy like Phil Dawson was a wide receiver, I think. So their mentality as far as being a football player first, and then a kicker second. He just happens to be a kicker, and that's kind of what we try to find.
What is your approach when you're dealing with a kicker that may be going through struggles? I mean, do you talk to him more? Do you go through film, or what is your approach?
I think it starts with what type of person he is. If he's somebody that you're going to help more by being more technical with, if he's going to benefit from that, I think it's spending time with him first to kind of figure out what type of guy he is. But you don't want to overcoach. You want to know when to back off. You want to know when to approach him and maybe mention one or two things about his footwork or his technique or what his aiming points are and what he's thinking about prior to the kick. But it's a lot of things in football are muscle memory. You don't want guys thinking. You want them just to go react, be ready, and do their job.
What have you learned philosophically about the special teams units here since joining the organization, and do you see yourself instituting any new philosophies that you can bring in maybe from your past experience?
Well, I can tell you what type of team we're going to be. We want to be aggressive. We want to be a situational special teams unit. Whatever the situation in the game dictates is how we want to adapt to it. And I think that's important. I think special teams can really complement offense and defense. Based on what the situation is in the game, being smart, no penalties. Obviously, that's something that we pride ourselves in. When I was with other teams, being less penalties as possible. But we like to be aggressive too. Our system is built around the players and around our personnel, and I like to think that it's easy for our guys, but it's hard on the opponents. Sometimes unpredictability is a great thing as well. So we're going to use all those.